As it turns out, one of my old flames have a new name. In this video, we're going to be talking about the 453 200 grain FN, now affectionately known as the 453 220 RF 85. We've got a fantastic 1911 sitting up in the top. Some bullets that I've casted about a year ago now, 25-1, that have been sitting in a coffee can, and some dirty brass. Folks, I got some work to do. Let's get it all worked up for you, and let's do some ballistic testing, shall we? I'll tell you what, if that hollow point don't get your attention, I'm not sure anything will. That's almost 1/4 of an inch. So I've got 5 pounds, or with this one, right at 5 pounds in the tray. I'm going to mix me up some coating. We're going to coat them twice. We're going to load my load for them, and we are going to see what they got. Man, I went to mix up my bullet coating, and I've mixed, remember, I've already done 10 pounds out of this. This was the original kryptonite green that I did. Got my 5 pounds sitting in there. Pull this out of the refrigerator. I got enough for one coating. So I'm going to do this one coat, and I'm going to mix up some more, and we're going to bake them twice and then size them. I've already got a load for it. You won't be seeing the load on YouTube. You'll be seeing the load on my other channel, which is located on Rumble. There will be a link below, and we'll go from there. While my first coat of bullets is baking, I've already mixed up my rest of my coating. I've got it sitting in the refrigerator. You can leave it there for a month or two. Figured it'd be a good time to go ahead and get some brass. Go ahead and start tumbling. If you'd like to see that process, if you'll check out the rest of my videos, you'll see that. One of my subscribers asked me if I let my bullets cool completely before I recoat them again. I put them underneath a fan, and they're about, I'd say, body temperature, and it's time to go again. I will take one out. I'll do the smash test. I already know it's going to work, but I'm going to go ahead and coat them, and you'll see the results. If it had stayed put, it'd smash a lot better. There you go. No integrity issues. Coating is still intact. Still good to go. Well, I'm sitting here and I'm inspecting my brass, and I wanted to bring something to your attention. It wasn't too long ago that when you got 45 ACP that they were all large pistol primer, but that's not the case anymore. Be wary when you do range pickups. Hopefully you can tell the difference of that on the camera. We have some that are small pistol primer, and we have some that are large pistol primer. Well, I've already taken my one shot, sprayed my bullets down, so I'm going to set that aside. Make sure that you put some sort of silicone lube on your bullets when you size them. Makes the sizing process a lot easier. There's a couple different manufacturers. I know for a fact that you can get it from High Tech. You can get their bullet lube. I just use the one shot because it works all the way around. I use it for cases and I use it for bullets. So I've got to size these real quick, and then when I get them sized, we're going to take them over to the press and get some 45 ACP loaded. I've already set up the Dillon. It takes a second. I haven't run that one in a while. That's my large pistol Dillon. That's right here on my left. And so I've already done the homework on it. I've got it dropping where it needs to drop, but I am going to go through the loading process. Helps if you get the bullet right across the top of the stem. But I'll go through the loading process with you. And for those of you that are watching on Rumble, you'll actually get to see that in action. If you're watching this on YouTube, you won't. If you would like to see that, just click the link below. It'll show the full version on Rumble. I'm not going to bore you with the rest of this. I'm just going to go ahead and get it done, and we'll move over to the press. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail about my loading process. The first thing I would suggest you do is consult a loading manual. Lyman makes a cast bullet handbook. If you're doing lead, comes in handy. I've got tons of books up there from all different types of bullet manufacturers, but when I work with lead, I consult the Lyman. And you can see I have multiple of these over there too. These are targets of loads that I've done. I have this load recipe, and I have an Excel sheet that is printed in here that has my recipe. I'm running 4.9 grains of bullseye with a large pistol primer. The max out of the Lyman book is 5, so I'm always under max. As far as seating depth is concerned, I pulled this barrel off a Glock 40 that was sitting just across the loading room there. And I just kind of want to show you how I test for seating depth. My seating depth differs from gun to gun. And with a pistol, particularly if you're running a Glock and you got unsupported case, and when I say unsupported, in other words, when the case is inserted, there's still some exposed. And what we want to do is, when it comes to seating depth, you want that bullet to hold the back of that case absolutely flush with the outer side of the chamber. And I do that with all my pistols, and I never have a feeding problem. As long as they fit in the chamber like that and they will fit in the magazine, they're going to run just fine, unless you don't crimp them enough. And as far as crimp is concerned, on a pistol, I use just enough crimp that it chambers smoothly. I don't over crimp anything. I don't put a hard crimp on anything. So I'm running for the 45, and I just use the 40 as an example. For the 45, I am running large pistol primer. I'm dropping 4.9 grains of bullseye. I'm barely flaring the case. 45 ACP cases are getting harder and harder to come by. So because I do not anneal my pistol casings, they work harden over time. And so the less stress I can put on them, the better. So I'm flaring them just enough to get that bullet to sit in there. I'm seating them so they will sit to the chamber. And I would have taken the 45 ACP off or barrel out for you, but it's a one-piece guide rod, or excuse me, it's a multi-piece guide rod, and it takes a lot more time than it does for me to just grab the Glock and pull one out. And then I'm crimping just enough for it to drop completely into the chamber. And with those, I've never had a running problem. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on camera, but it makes a slight indentation right there with that particular seating stem. There we have them. Let's go put them on a target. Here we are out at the range. I've got my Springfield 1911 loaded, stainless. It's had a little bit of trigger work done. That's really about it. And we've got a target set up at 20 yards, and we're just going to do some accuracy testing real quick before I go to the gel, just to make sure I'll be able to hit the gel. So normally, I like to shoot unsupported, but I figure since we're shooting gel, I want to make sure that I'm as precise as possible. So we've got the LabDAR set up, and right at the corner of the bull, 872. Same hole looks like 866. Now we went a little faster, 923, still in the bull. Just a hair under the bull. And just a hair under the bull. I think I can live with that. So we're looking about a 2-inch group, taking a pretty fine bead, but I believe I can hit the gel with that. So we're going to turn off this camera, set up some gel, and we'll get it done. We've set up the ballistic gel. We've got the GoPro downrange. I think we're ready to go. I believe it's inside my accuracy window. I hold this open sight at the 6 o'clock position. We'll see. If not, we'll just melt it down and try it again. So this is the NOE 220 RF is what its new name is. 20 yards. And $872. We did get it in the block. Looks a little high, but we hit some gel. Let's go see what it did. Guys, I don't know about where you live, but where I live in South Georgia, it's already 85 and 86 degrees in the afternoon. Anyway, keep in mind that this bullet was cast a little harder than the last ones. I normally cast 30 to 1, but since it had such a big hollow point on it, this is 25 to 1, about a 12.5 Brunel. So I'm gonna turn this thing around and we're going to see how we did. So you can see the wound cavity. The bullet is caught. It did tumble a little bit. It looks like it sheared one little piece off. I'm gonna move these jugs out of the way and then we're gonna get a measurement on this block. So when I tilt down, you can see it's fully mushroomed and it looks to be, it started opening up about 2 inches into it, and it was heading very straight until it lost this little piece right here. Then it turned a little bit. Overall penetration, if you can see that on camera, is right at 10 3/8. And so I'm gonna try to set this guy down and we're gonna pull these two pieces out. So this is some pretty tough gel. I mean, you can end up having to cut it out. See if I can get down there on it, yeah. So it's missing that entire side is what veered off. I thought I could get in there with my finger and get it. Have to make another cut. These videos just take a while because you end up having to remelt this block after every time. So there are the two pieces that are recovered. I'm actually going to measure the expansion across this area since we lost that piece. I don't see any other pieces in the back of the gel, but that is flat, flat, flat. I'm surprised it sheared off, but sorry, my neighbors have a dirt bike. That's what you keep hearing in my latest video. It's a new thing to them. We're going to take it inside. We're going to actually weigh it, and we'll finish this thing up. All right, I've got my scale zeroed. I'm going to drop both pieces that I recovered, and we're at 206.3. We'll set that aside. We'll put one that has not been fired on the scale. 207.5. So right at a grain. And it could be weight variation again. These weren't weight sorted. Had to set the gimbal down for this, makes it a lot easier. But we're going to see exactly what kind of expansion we got on this, if I can get my hand in the frame here. Oh, heavens. 1.0585. Man. Started life as 0.453. Man, that's a big hollow point. No wonder it sheared that pedal off. We got full intact coating on the bottom. I hope you've learned something today, and I always try to end my videos in this way, but I know I have. I usually try to cast my lead at 30-1, but I felt like as big as that hollow point, I better go a little bit harder. And I've been casting at 25-1 for years. I've blown up jugs and stuff, but I've never really caught it in ballistic gel. I never would have imagined that it would have opened to 1 inch in diameter. I understand why we lost the pedal. It's not a deal breaker to me. It still penetrated 10 inches, which is crazy. We're going to wrap this one up for you. Hope to see you next time. Please check out my other videos. If you like this video, please make sure that you like and subscribe.